met you before. So, first of all, actually, can people tell me if they can hear me at all? Because I just realized if you can't hear my music, maybe you can't hear any. Okay, great. Yes. Oh, and there's so many people here. Okay, feeling the love. All right, confidence and clarity. Let's go. So, this is going to be super powerful if this is you. I'm confused about what to do next with my career. I feel stuck and uninspired. I'm at a crossroads. I have a couple options right now, but it's really hard for me to pick one or just stay focused to find out what I want at this moment. And it's hard to get motivated. I feel defeated. If any of this resonates, I want you to put a one in the chat and be, or just say, like, this is me, like you're speaking to me. Yeah, you just read my mind. Okay. I've I can hard relate, and this is something that I hear from clients time and time again. Okay, let's try this. If you can relate to any of those, then I know you're likely doing this. You tried to talk to friends and family members about what you're going through, but they don't really get it, and it ends up feeling super lonely. You've sent resumes, you've sent tons of messages out, you're doing without hearing anything back. It's been radio silence. And you've gotten caught up in thinking you need to create the perfect message, the portfolio, the website, the product before you can tell a single soul about it. I know I definitely have heard this from some of you before, and perhaps this resonates with a number of you. And avoiding yourself like the plague, saying, like, I can't tell if this is what I really want, and looking to other people for some of that guidance. So let's dig a little deeper into that. I bet you tried some of these things. If this resonates and you put a one, is you try one thing for a hot minute and then try another tactic, and it's hard to tell what actually works, and it's hard to make progress. And you create seriously tough goals. Ambitious women that are in this channel, like I see you, you've created hard goals from the get-go, and then you end up getting discouraged and feeling overwhelmed about it. And you've tried doing it on your own, but end up feeling super overwhelming, discouraging, exhausting, scary. And 6 months go by and nothing happens. And you're searching for advice and wisdom on LinkedIn, all the social media feeds that we have, but it ends up being in a comparison spiral of former colleagues and peers. So, over the course of our time together today, you could have been so many other places. You're on this Zoom call with me, and I want to make really good use of your time. I'm going to share what actually works. And when you use this process, it's going to help you save so much time and energy and reignite that spark for your next career move. So being mindful of your time, like, and my values, this is not going to be fluff. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I don't believe in all-consuming passion. Frankly, like, you're going to hear it on record, like, I think that's bullshit. I actually kind of hate it, as you can tell by my language. What I do believe in and strongly advocate for is playing to your strengths and your energy and living a balanced life. Like, I will wholeheartedly advocate for this. It is my career. It's what I hang my hat on, and I strongly believe that this can happen for you. Okay, so here's what we'll cover. I'm going to give a little intro. You're probably wondering who the heck I am if you haven't met me before. I'm an internet stranger. We're going to delve into career clarity, because when you're clear on where you're headed, the path becomes even easier to create. And when you don't have this, with no idea what to do, it's a lot of starting and stopping and getting stuck. And then we're going to cover how to tell your unique story, one that ties in all of the richness of your past experiences, your personality, and your skills. So, no more rambling when someone asks you about yourself and you start going in chronological order, like starting from the day you were born, where you went to college, what major you chose. Like, I've been guilty of this for sure. And how to craft that story so it really, really lands, no matter your audience. And then we're going to dive into how to outreach and still be a normal, cringe-free human And this actually is really about the opportunities that you're missing out on and how you can find them. And then we're going to hang on for some surprise bonuses, and there'll be plenty of time at the end for questions. So please, I might miss them in the chat. So what I ask is please save them for the end. I'm going to ask you all to, you can come on camera and ask me the questions. There'll be a time for us to connect. Okay, so a little bit about me is I've had a number of career pivots. Some of the biggest ones where I went from an English major to almost a therapist. I had gotten into grad school, but in the US, so expensive. And at that time, it wasn't the right choice for me. I was 24. I was going to be a marriage and family therapist. And so I decided instead to switch into software engineering. And I spent over 10 years in tech, including leadership roles at an AI music company. I pivoted to a bunch of industries. I worked in education, in music, and banking. I was a consultant and also in user research. And I also founded Start with Hello. So this is where I coach women in tech. And I also consult with tech orgs on community strategy, for instance, at Leopard FYI, which some of you might know, and London Interdisciplinary School. And I grew Start with Hello to 5-figure months after 4 months of full-time work. So it's been really thriving. I've been so lucky. And I'm going to go into some of the ways that I did that, which I think will be helpful for some of you here. And another thing is I coach founders at Sync, which is social impact VC with some of their portfolio companies. And I am an expert reinventor, for better or for worse, but for here, like 100% for better. I say it in jest. Of course, it's for better. I've lived in 3 countries. I'm currently based in London, and I've had over 20 jobs. I counted them up and made a list. And some of them are, I was a writer in Australia. I interviewed Olympians. I was at Cirque du Soleil. I was dumpling maker on a food truck, which you can see in this tiny little corner. That's me. I used to travel to music festivals all around the UK making dumplings. I worked in insurance. I was an engineer. I was an audiobook narrator. And then you can see here, I also worked at a scuba dive resort. I'm advanced certified and would go around teaching people. Okay, so we're going to get into the interactive mode. I'm not going to ask you to go on camera unless you want to, but this is a reminder that it's not just me here speaking at you. It's all of us together in this experience, and we're all humans here. We made a choice to show up. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to count down, and then we're all going to unmute and say hi. Or you can make whatever funky noise that you want to make, your choice. I just ask that it's not me saying hello or making like some funky sound. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Okay. So when I count down to 1, let's do it together. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Okay. Yes. Thank you for humoring me. And that was improv. I had no idea that was going to come out of my mouth. All right. Let's get into it. So getting career clarity. Let's talk about it and get to you. Where are you feeling stuck? So I want you to reflect on this a little bit and then tell me in the chat, tell us in the chat, where are you feeling stuck? What made you come? What made you come to this talk? And what were you feeling? Yeah, Lisa, I'm not sure what I want. Aaliyah, feeling the desire for more, italicized, not knowing where I should direct my career and broader life. Josephine, hello. Growing my business, ooh, and wealth for the future. I'm lost. Not sure, but I was curious. 100% love that honesty. And I'm glad you're curious. I know what I want, but don't know where to start. I hear you. Motivation and clarity are really difficult in this job market. Yes, that is a big underline here. Okay. 5-year career plan is blurry, Jody. Yeah, so let's talk about, oh, switching careers as well. +1 on Jody's comment. Okay. Yeah. Here's oh, big paragraph. Okay. I will come back to this. So here's what you've said in the chat. Some of these things exactly mirror this, and here's what we're going to talk about. And just know that you're not alone, because these are the things that I've pulled out from talking to so many people and what people are going through right now. Is there too many options out there? I've got 100 tabs open. I don't know where to start. I definitely just heard that. I'm feeling too drained to even think about what's possible. Like all I can do after work is just scroll, to scroll and like get through the day, get through the evening. Or I'll try something for a little bit and then try something else. I don't know what my strengths are. What if I fail? I'm scared. And then I know we got a lot of pluses on this one. Like, girl, in this economy, okay, I hear you on this. And so what your stuckness boils down to is not knowing where to go, what direction to head in. I want you to hear me out on this. Is we spend so much of our attention listening to other people who don't really know us like we know ourselves, or read through social media with quick hacks and the promise of a 5 a.m. magical morning. And it's overwhelming, it's exhausting. And so, what we're going to talk about is like making a shift to block out the noise and really tune in to ourselves. So the first thing is we're going to do this exercise. And I want you to tell me, what are some of your interests? You can write this down. If you have a pen and paper, whatever you have a notepad, Notion, or even better, like list them out in the chat. And there's no judgment here. Maybe it's teaching gymnastics, or maybe it's a Thai cooking class. Maybe it's building a cool product on the side and coding it, or interviewing people. Maybe it's a podcast, a lot of things, right? So I'll give you all about a minute. I'm going to read through some of the chats. Oh, a gamut of interest. I love the word gamut. And we're going to do something cool with it. Yeah, you can put it in the chat. And if you want to keep it just for yourself, that's completely okay. You can put it, just write it for yourself. Wow, there's so many incredible interests. Building AR video games, stocks, dancing, open water swimming, writing and editing, bird watching and belly dancing, like first alliteration, making scented candles. Okay, you all are so cool. Hiking, mentoring, mid-century architecture. Okay, this is beautiful. All right, here's what we're going to do with it. All right, let's Mad Libs it. So if you're familiar with Mad Libs, it's fill in the blanks. And whatever you listed for your interests, I want you to write this. So let's delve into it even deeper. I'm excited by energy healing because, or I'm excited by bringing startup thinking to bureaucratic places because I know there's actually something powerful to unpack there. Why does that excite you? Open water swimming, scented candles. What is it? And this you can put in the chat or just reflect for yourself because we have so much to cover that some of this, let me give you an example, actually, that will be helpful. So this is a real life example that I had with a client is I'm excited by taking Thai cooking classes because I love creating something that I can enjoy. And I like learning in the company of other people with the same goal. Right? This is some more uncovering of digging into your interest, but it's asking yourself why, like why that thing is important. And so if we dig deeper into this, and this is what coaching is, but we can do it right here, is that the joy of creating something, like for this example, it's the joy of creating something. Maybe it's with our hands, maybe it's starting from scratch, Maybe the part that's enjoyable is like having a recipe to follow and being able to implement it, having some guidance, and it's doing so with others. And not only that, but it's doing so with people who are aligned on the same mission. And so, what this tells me is that this is someone who loves following some guidance at the beginning, creating something tangible, and being hands on and doing so with a team that's aligned. So, what I want you to do is look at some of these examples and see what you can glean from it. If there are any patterns, things that you can uncover, and I bet some of those things will surprise you. Like, for instance, that bringing startup thinking to bureaucratic places, that might be really exciting. Aaliyah, you could tell me even better, but that might be really exciting, for example, because it's seeing change in places or really making an impact where people don't necessarily have that perspective and where maybe a startup would already be implementing more agile processes, right? So something like that. Yes, the impact. Okay. Okay, so now let's add a little focus and think professionally. The reason why thinking about interests is that we want it to be more expansive rather than just like job, job, job. But let's add some more framing to it. And so, what did you like about your past jobs or projects? And please put this in the chat too, because I'll try and come up with an example for you and pull things out. So you don't need to have loved all of your job and had it be the best job ever, but what are aspects that you liked? And I'll give you about a minute again. Oh, Rachel, it's good to see you. I remember we messaged a couple weeks ago. Okay, what I'm hearing, I love my second to last manager. Ah, the chat. Okay. Because she was supportive and insightful. I love the ghostwriting projects I worked on. I love my supportive, caring, funny team. All right, a lot of the people component to it, the support that you're getting, the insight to help further your learning. Danielle, the camaraderie of people, yeah, thirsting for knowledge and to advance both themselves, others, and their personal lives. Okay, so this is very holistic. Of it's not just the professional part at work, and we're also like looking to grow ourselves in all of those aspects and being around that same kind of community. Okay, so same thing. What you want to do is I like here's one getting a lot of public face time because why is that important to you? So let's see, like here's another one. Randani is I loved, not just liked, I loved having ownership to the processes and collaborating with the engineering team and learning from them because I bet there's an aspect of getting to see different perspectives and learning from those, like not just people who thought like you, and especially with engineering, like a whole different kind of brain sometimes. And also like getting to own things, getting to make a change, getting to implement things, not having to go through red tape, and really collaborating with other people who see different perspectives and making it better. Catherine, exploring and learning about people, systems. Yeah, definitely as a UX researcher. Oh, and the incorporation of new things. So I like working on new things as a user researcher because something. Maybe it's so you don't get bored at work. Maybe because it makes you feel valued at work and like you're contributing. Okay, so here's an example is I like building a new tool at work because I got to try a bunch of new technologies and there wasn't pressure to deliver quickly. So what we can get from this is I like being able to try new things and freedom to experiment, like less pressure, heads down time to build, and being in an environment that really encourages that type of facilitates that kind of learning, experimentation. Maybe it's not about the bottom line of money, that we need to deliver this right away and here's this deadline. And so, what I want you to do with this is use this as your roadmap to what you want and your decision making. And I want to ask you, like, what has surprised you about this list? Has anything come up? And tell me in the chat. And keep in mind, this is something that we did in 6 minutes, right? It's a start. It's just a taste of what this is, like what we're unpacking, the direction we want to go. But look at all that we uncovered in just 6 minutes and the things that we can start pulling out, right? Of, things like I like working remotely for many reasons, including not having the physical proximity to work, not commuting. Okay. And saying, like, what are the things about remote work that really, I like the flexibility, I like the freedom, I like to spend more time with my family rather than, being on the train or stuck in traffic. And imagine if we did this for half an hour or even an hour, like really listing out those things. This is what I do at the beginning of sessions of any client relationship, is making that list, getting clear about why it is that you feel that way, and looking for patterns along that. So then we can map out a foundation of where you want to go in the future. And so take this list that you have, or what you've said in the chat, because it's a real seed of something big. And I want you to look at this every day as a constant reminder of what's important to you. And remember, it will change. It will change. You will change. And that's a good thing. That means you'll learn more information, but that's entirely the point. Like, that is progress. That's us moving forward. And you're getting more informed, you're iterating, and it's closer to what you want. And so this is Paulina. This is someone that I worked with recently. She's a mid-level software engineer, 6 years into her engineering career. And when we met, this is what she said: I feel super stuck in my career and current job, something that some of you have said. And I'm hoping to get over the fear, the confidence block that is preventing me from taking even the tiniest steps. And so what we did was we went through this exercise, and actually that was Paulina with those examples of, I like building a new tool at work because I got to try a bunch of new technologies. There wasn't pressure. I got freedom to explore. And this is what it looked like. After we worked together, she said, I feel hopeful and in control of my career for the first time in years. She just landed, I had to update the slide. She just landed a new role, making 180,000, which is a lot of, it's going to curse, a lot of money. And most importantly, like, she landed, it wasn't about the money for her, is she wanted a role where she felt supported and could show up as herself and gain confidence in her skills. And she absolutely did that. And so this is actually an email that I got last week from her. She said, I'm very happy where I ended up and feel very lucky I got to work with you on this. And then this was just me. What was this? Okay, this was a couple days ago. Just a voice note of me screaming my head off, celebrating her and just being so happy. So this is just to say, like, use this. This is a really helpful exercise, a quick hack of like how we can build out what you want in terms of career clarity and why it is so important and how it can work for you. Okay, so let's get into how you can communicate your unique background to tell your story, what makes you you, it's your experience and your skill sets, and infuse it with personality. As you can tell, I'm someone who writes and talks with a lot of personality, and you want people to be engaged, to understand who you are, not the generic version of you. And you want them to give you a chance to make you unforgettable so that they say, there's this just something about that person. We need to give them a chance. And one of the biggest things I hear with people when they struggle with telling their story is how to connect everything with their background, how to tell it. Maybe it's how to explain a career break, a pivot. Maybe it's, I have so many skills, or I'm a generalist. I don't know how to share like what it is I do. Or maybe it's talking to someone and suddenly seeing them getting distracted and thinking, oh God, I'm losing them. So I'm going to ask you to reflect on two questions, two bite-sized questions. Is what do you want people to know about you? And how would your friends describe you? And I'll give you another minute. Please put it in the chat so we can help pull out some of these things and use them as examples, and I can offer some feedback. And let's do it. I'll be quiet for a little bit so you can have some time to think. Okay, Danielle, I want people to know that that is so beautiful. I'm on my way to success, and I'm ready to take anyone's hand to bring them there with me. And my friends have told me that and I care a lot about people I love, and I care for people. First of all, you're an extremely good writer, and I can feel how much you care so much, and other people do because they're reacting to it. That is so beautiful. Yeah. Okay. This is what Danielle wants people to know. People just love what you're writing. And other people feel free to share. And thank you for being so brave to like share what you would want other people to know about you, because that is a very brave thing to do. You know, it's like putting out the real you, sometimes the things that people might misunderstand initially or not know. Ellie, I like people to know that I'm very up for a challenge. Yes, I'm not scared to take risks. Okay, so let's hang on to that for a moment. Keep that thread. And let's think about your story, right? Like, who is your audience? It could be a hiring manager, it could be an investor if you're a founder, it could be a potential client, a fellow networker, a collaborator, a friend, an elevator stranger. I'm picturing like you're riding an elevator and all of a sudden you start talking to someone, you know, the elevator pitch. Okay. And what are they interested in? So, thinking about all of these people and the different interactions that you have, what's in their mind? It's a little bit like, you know, developing empathy, but thinking about what they want to connect with you on. And where are you connecting? So this is super important for your story is keep in mind there are different time limits for each of these interactions. And your communication changes depending on the context because you want the most important parts of your messages to land. And you might have way more time and leeway with a coffee versus two minutes in an in-person event or 3 sentences with LinkedIn, you know? Okay. So what we just did in that exercise, like what you love about you, I see like I like to people to know that I'm fun to work with, kind and a good listener. Yes. Lisa, it's hard and easy. Oh, it's hard and easy to go just for the tropes. But I can figure out problems and manage really complex problems and learn quickly and ask good questions. Yeah, that I'm thoughtful, I'm introspective. I want people to know that I support them and take ownership. My friends say I'm their biggest cheerleader and always show up for them. I love these. Like already, you know, we're not talking face to face, but already you're coming to life, not just for me, but for like the other people, and people are reacting to these things. So, what you love about you, some of the things that you're mentioning in the chat, and a whole there's so much more depth to you, right? Of the skills you're proud of, the things that you've built, your accomplishments, what you spend your free time doing, your travels, your adorable pet. I wanted to put a dog that I was staring at while I was making these slides. But, there are these other things that add so much flavor and richness to your life. And then there's what your audience cares about. Can you help them with their problem? Can you connect with them? And what you want to look at, of course, is that overlap in the Venn diagram. And that is really the key part is let's keep the audience in mind. Let's not lose sight of you because we're not robots. And like this is 100% what will set you apart because everyone is using ChatGPT and writing professionally. It's so easy to see through, right? Like it's boring, it's generic. And we want to put you at the forefront of what your audience cares about, what they're interested in, and what you love about yourself right here. So let me give you evidence that being yourself counts. It counts for something. I'm sure you're convinced. But let me tell you a quick story of how I landed my first job, career changing into software engineering. At that time, I was working in insurance and had no technical background. I was a writer. I was an English major. And I got a job that wasn't even posted. And actually, they weren't even looking to hire someone. They created the role for me. And so I emailed Jason, the CTO of a startup, and asked him to meet for coffee. And here's part of the email. It was over 10 years ago. He said it was my word gumption and putting my personality into the message that got him to agree to coffee in the first place. And of course, it was convincing him in person that I could do the job. Like, here's what I've done. I'm a career changer. This is my strength because I'm willing to take risks. I am proactive about my career and my interests. I like making things. There's all of these things that you can cultivate to strengthen your message. But this is what got my foot in the door. And here's what I want you to take away. Like from this Venn diagram and from the exercise of what we just did about what you love about yourself, we want to look at what you did, why you did it, your audience interests, so what they want to connect with you on, what problems they have, infuse your personality in it. And that's a message that lands loud and clear. Clearly, like emphasis on clear. And I want to actually add to that is you want to keep it short. Big tip is like you don't want to lose them. You want to have one or two situations ready at hand that you can pull from. So you're not scrambling in your brain and thinking, this is definitely not the situation I want to talk about, but I wasn't prepared. And you want to get ready to delve into why and what you learned from that situation. Like this is really key and meaty. It's so impactful if you can talk about, I made this move because of this. And here's what I've learned from this situation. Like, here is why I'm at the present of what I'm doing. And it tells a much better story, if you go to the plot and you go to uh, I didn't plan for this, but the English major mind is just like, you want to get to that tension, then you want to talk about the resolution and how you got there. Okay, how to outreach and still be a normal, cringe-free human, which really is scratch the outreach. It's how to create opportunity and still be a cringe-free, normal human. So outreach, what I mean here is reaching out to others, nothing more and nothing less than that. And this is why outreach is essential. I know my last example exhibits this as well, but there's so much more you can do with it. Is getting more information, learning about an industry, how someone built their business, maybe learning about a company and whether it'd be a good fit for you. So getting your foot in the door, landing an opportunity, growing your business, your creative project, it's attracting clients and collaborating. It's also creating projects, friendships, finding interesting people to create with. And I also want to tell you about this fact is 40% of roles don't even get posted. It's actually higher when I looked it up, but I wanted to be more conservative. But also, I work closely with a recruiting firm. I do some consulting for this tech company. And it's actually trending towards increasing even more because now companies are getting bombarded by so many applicants or, people, applicants. And so they're actually just looking internally at their networks first. And so here's an example of outreach and uncovering a hidden opportunity is I coach at Leopard, which was the recruiting firm that I was referring to here. Like Lexi was just telling me about this. And Lexi's the CEO at Leopard. They help women and non-binary engineers vet companies, find out if this company will be a good fit for them and help along the job with the job search. And so Lexi posted something, and I was just thinking, it's so aligned with what I already do and her values of transparency and how she runs the company. And so there wasn't an official role. Lexi never even wrote a job description. And here's how I made it happen. Is I sent her a voice note. It was 10 p.m. at night. I was on the couch. Uh, I definitely thought that I had sent her two voice notes. So this one, that first one was like super informal. It was had a very awkward ending because I had a subsequent one to follow up with. Turns out it didn't even send. So I left her a half-baked, awkward note. And then she said, love this. Let's chat. And I got the consulting gig for this. I currently do this at Leopard. So this is a reminder that one, we're not perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's way more important to be proactive because you never know. So with outreach in this context, like there's so much we could talk about in terms of connection. We'll be focusing on LinkedIn for this time and constraints that we have, but know that there's email, there's Slack workspaces, like start looking up like different networking groups that you could be a part of based on your interests. There's message boards, there's conferences, there's events, other social media platforms, and there is saying hello in person. Okay. We haven't done a bit of interaction in a bit, so I want to ask you like what is the cringe? What makes outreach cringy? Generic, generic, generic. Yeah. Breach. Someone told me that I speak more to Gen Z, which I don't even know. I'm like too old for that, but I feel like my language might have been very Gen Z just there. Feeling, oh, hi, Abigail. Feeling awkward and being afraid people will think I'm an imposter. No such thing as cringy outreach, just a state of mind. Yeah, perspective. Might be getting ahead of ahead of me in that. I love it. Okay. Feeling one-sided. Ooh, yeah, maybe it's asking for something. The person you're reaching out to is probably aware that you want something. Yeah, maybe that hidden agenda and why they should help. Bothering people. Yes, big one. So happens so much. Okay, so talking to someone I don't know, I should be prepared and know everything already, not knowing what to say or how to keep the conversation going, writing like a generic again, writing those salesy messages to the masses, putting yourself out there and not getting responses. They could not respond, or even worse, be snarky about it, and having to ask for something and feeling like I'm burdening someone. One thing I want to do actually is, how we talked about what you love about yourself and what your friends want to know about you. I won't, we don't, for time's sake, we can't do the full exercise, but I want you to take some of those things and think about how you can incorporate it into your outreach and your writing, because that's really important. That adds your unique personality, your flavor. And so just keep that in mind, that you want that to play a part in how you talk to people and how you reach out, especially for the first time. And so there are a bunch of different ways to communicate with people on LinkedIn. There's written, there's voice, and there's video. As you can see here, I love the voice notes. I just showed you an example with Lexi. Here's one where I sent a voice note and then someone started responding. We had this whole conversation. Think about what feels fun to you. You do not have to force yourself to do something just because you think you should. Like, there are different ways to play around with this. Maybe LinkedIn isn't your bag, and that's okay. Like, I think in this scenario, I'm giving you some like really tactical things, but know that it doesn't need to be LinkedIn. And think about where you want to communicate with others. So maybe you're thinking about, oh, everyone's going to read the messages, or I really like writing. I like putting out my own content. And so on LinkedIn, you have a couple options: is DMs. If you want to have that one-on-one connection with people, you can comment on posts. If you want some more interactive and reading people's stuff, you want to create your own content. And it can be a mixture of all of these. And with your content, you can write, you can make a video, you can use voice, you can do so many things. And you can create opportunity in the comments. So for example, this is one of my colleagues, Boomy. It's amazing. And she commented on one of my posts. And because we hadn't talked in a while, but because she had mentioned something, I actually connected her with a fellow business owner, Melinda, who does professional speaking at conferences. And then they collaborated on something because of this. So here are 5 of the most common mistakes that I see: is 1, not reaching out at all; 2, going straight into how someone can help you without forming a connection first, introducing yourself, talking about why you're interested in them, before just going like straight to like, do this for me. Being unclear on what you want. And I mean that in the sense of being clear with them about what you want. Writing a novel, writing too much, and no call to action at the end of it of what should they do to connect with you. They're interested. Okay, is it a 15-minute coffee after that? Is it helping you answer this user research survey, something like that? It's a professional speaking gig. Okay, and here's a hack: is send a message when you connect. So here's someone's profile. What you do is you go to more, connect, and then you send a message, and it will need to be succinct, I believe, roughly like 2 to 3 sentences. But this eliminates so much of the waiting time and improves the chances that you'll get a response as well. And so do this as your default. It gives, especially if you don't know them, it just gives them a chance to know who you are, to learn a little bit about you without having to wait. And then you send a message, and then they might not even read it after that. Okay, and write your comments with your audience in mind. I'm getting distracted by the Elon Musk. He's like, oh no, what is being mentioned? Luckily, not too bad. Okay. So writing your comments with your audience in mind, because you never know who's going to read them on the feed. And think about like what you're saying, if they can take it out of context, of if they can get value of it without reading the whole other post, they can take that snapshot and be like, oh, okay, that's really interesting what Lana has to say. And you can also let them come to you. So Kate came to my last workshop and revamped her headline, and I asked her, can I use this? Because it's really good. I love this: connector of dots, aspiring innkeeper, proud and tired mom. She's a business owner who helps companies with their communication. And this just automatically added so much more insight into who Kate is. Okay, wow, we've covered so much and talked about how to unpack what you're really good at, what you care about, how you want to spend your time. I think I missed a slide where this is actually like the most important part. I want you to take away this question and think about it then. Is how would you spend your Wednesday lunch? So this is around career clarity. What does your Wednesday lunch look like? The reason I ask that is it's a normal day, not the start of your week. It's not Friday, 4-day work week Friday. It's what are you eating? Who are you eating it with? Where are you? And what are you doing afterwards? So this is a fresh question, hopefully for you. And it's going to give you some more insight into what your work environment is. And for instance, with Paulina, she said, I want to eat with colleagues and have a chat, but I also want to be able to go home and make something and watch something fun. And then I don't want rigidity in terms of my schedule. Like I want to be able to come back whenever I want. And it's about getting work done when I want. Okay. We've also talked about your background, infusing it with personality and changing it depending on who you're talking to. And I've given you some really key tips on how to do outreach and how to find opportunities that don't even get posted. And so far, like, what has been your favorite takeaway? I'd love to hear some of those. Yeah, Abigail, I wonder if that's the lunch that you want to have. And maybe it is that boring lunch. I mean, boring by your definition as well. It might be really exciting to other people. DBT Labs, I know them. I have a coworker, ex-coworker that works there, and I know the VP of engineering actually. Okay, but takeaways. Okay, so keep going. I love to read these afterwards, but I want to be really mindful of your time and leave time for questions. So I'm so excited, really, really excited to tell you about my upcoming offering for Authentic. So this is going to kick off in April, April 11th specifically. And this is small group coaching for 12 weeks. And it's specifically for women in tech who want to fall back in love with their careers. And if you enjoyed this and found it helpful, like this is just a snapshot of what it's like and who I am, how I work, and what it's like. So in this program, you will uncover your dream role that energizes you and plays to your exact strengths and interests. And I'll put a link in the chat right now to sign up. I know it can be tricky by email and things later, but that's it. Okay. And here's everything that we'll cover. There's 6 modules, but here's some of the stuff that's inside of Authentic and the most important topics for reigniting your career. So creating clarity on your dream role, as we've talked about, confidently communicating your unique value proposition, your story, so you're the obvious choice and know how to answer any questions, uncovering those hidden gem opportunities without typical networking events, and how to do it also outside of just LinkedIn. Because we've really scratched just the surface here. And there's so much more and so many other exercises that we can play with and uncover things. And that's just the beginning of it, is creating your personal success system, because you are a human, you're not a robot. I will say this so many times. And it's how to thrive in your role, to free up time, to live more in the moment, to discover your number one career blind spots. So you're not stuck in limbo and you know what worked, what didn't. You can iterate and learn proven strategies for how to conduct those mini experiments and cultivating a limitless mindset. So to me, this is the biggest part of coaching, of a transformation, of going through something with a change. And having the strong, resilient mindset is so important because you can know what you want to do with your career and have that clarity, but you could still also be holding yourself back. And there could be a voice in your head nagging you saying, hey, you really think you can do that? And so we'll create a system of accountability and support so that you can keep showing up for yourself amongst other people who are also doing the same thing and showing up. And all of this material, these 6 topics in this framework, are a total of 4,000. And I want to tell you about Shamshir. So it's so fun to revisit some of the people I worked with. Shamshir was a product manager at Pinterest, senior product manager, and at Thumbtack, and she was burnt out and burned by prior roles. Some of them left a really bad taste in her mouth. And she was at a crossroads with how to manage her career after spending years as a PM. And not just at a crossroads with her career, honestly, but also with life. She was in her hometown of Toronto and wondering, do I stay in my hometown? Do I go back to SF? And she found her freedom and confidence. She experimented with several careers while we worked together to find out what was a good fit. She created her own business, which is one of several now, and she got a paid client within 3 months and went traveling outside of her hometown as well. And so here are the logistics of how it works with the group coaching is it starts April 11th. Around the time, I might offer 2 sessions, but it's going to be, we're going to have like a doodle and work together on like what time fits with all of the group to attend. And there'll also be recordings of it. And we will have a 45-minute strategy call, which is just one-on-one, just you and me, and we're going to create a plan together. So this is straight into the weeds. It's me with a Google Doc, and it will be actionable of things that will really set you up for these 12 weeks together. And then we have coaching calls every 2 weeks, sort of like this, but way more interactive. And you're going to have time to get your questions answered, talk through whatever is coming up for you that week, and hear from other women in the group as well and get their opinions. And there's also a private Slack community. I say 24/5, not going to add those extra weekend days because I really believe in balance, but there's plenty of time to keep in touch between calls, to keep connected, to celebrate wins. You'll have access to me to ask questions and hold yourself accountable alongside the community throughout the program, as well as a lifetime access to the membership area with exercises, also added meditations and recordings as well. And so this you can watch on all of these 6 topics whenever works for you. And however, like you can watch it at your desk, you can do it when you're walking in the park. It's all made to fit into your lifestyle. And Sarah, actually, thank you for putting that out there. I haven't got into the price yet. The value is 4,000, but I really want to stress the price of it. But let me talk about some of these things because I actually really, you don't need to say oops, it's okay. The bonus, this is one that I'm really, really excited about. This is one of my favorite things to do and delivers so much value is I will review your 3 most used assets. And so what does that mean? That could be revamping your LinkedIn profile, reading through your outreach messages. It can be more than 3 of those. Overhauling your resume. Maybe it's looking at your website, whatever product you're creating if you're a founder. And I'll give you my customized recommendations about this. And this is limited to the first 3 signups. It's really in depth. So I want to make sure I have the space to really review this for you. And this is if you sign up in the next 24 hours, the first 3 people. And so I like to say that there are 2 paths. One is a hell of a lot of confusion and feeling stuck and trying to piecemeal things together and doing things on your own, which is okay. But we acknowledge it can be lonely and exhausting and takes lots of time, and things may or may not change. And I'm offering you a chance to accelerate your progress with following a proven roadmap as someone who has helped many clients do this and done so myself in a number of transitions. And I'm not special. Like, here's a picture of me writing these slides last week in bed while eating chocolate frosting without makeup. I don't have special powers. I'm introverted. I have lazy days. I'm shy. I didn't come from money, but I do have a proven roadmap. And so I can say 100% like this has helped me so much and my clients in finding alignment and fulfillment. So this is why I created Authentic and why I'm excited about it is giving that roadmap to other people and making it more accessible. And the second bonus is AI hacks to accelerate your career. So these are specifically a cheat sheet of prompts. Whoa, cheat sheet of prompts I've used to use AI as your playground and run experiments and produce more creative output. So these are tools that you probably haven't used yet. It's not ChatGPT, it's other things that you can use to play, experiment, and expand. And I'm really excited to share them with you. Dream Big Party. So, this is an exclusive live workshop where I'll guide you through a proven strategy for getting out of your head and uncovering your dreams you haven't even known. It's a 90-minute workshop and a lot of sticky notes, and it's a new fun technique to wish big, surprise yourself, and then create action. Okay, so all of this, like with the bonuses, it's a lot. And the total value is over, I you can say this weird number. It's over 5,900. And it's really important to me to make this accessible because there's so many of you. I mean, just in the sheer number, like there were over 40 people who attended, is there's so many people who feel like this, who feel like they're burnt out or lost and stuck. And I don't want to be cost to be the reason why you settle and miss out on a chance for me to support you alongside like this really, I can't stress enough like how special the community will be with other incredible women. So it's 1,500 or it's 3 monthly payments of 600. And I know you might have some doubts and that's okay. And you might be really excited to join and say, well, I'm not sure if it's the right time. So I want you to get curious and ask yourself, what would make it the right time? And what made you show up today? Because you could be doing so many other things. Sometimes the last thing I want to do is be on a Zoom call, but you're here. You showed up, you came to this workshop, you interacted, you were on the chat. So just sit with that a second and ask yourself what is important to you right now. Okay, and I want to talk about Shiva, who was an operations lead at a startup when I met her. And she had the same thought, like she was just laid off, actually, when we met, and really lost on what to do. And she was going through some personal issues with her family. And we talked it through. And, it ended up being the most important time to work together because for her, she felt super lost. And it was really easy to get caught up in everything that was going on, to feel overwhelmed and stay in that same spot for months, maybe even a year. And when we worked together, here's what she got to do. She lived out her childhood dream of working on a farm. She started working as a stylist. She loves clothes and curating things for people. And she moved to Atlanta out of her parents' house and she landed her dream job at Spanx. And if you said, well, this is scary, I've never invested in myself, I hear you. I've been there. And I rarely spent money on myself. I would buy things at a discount all the time, still do, and splurge really hard when it comes to investing in gifts for my loved ones. And I want to acknowledge, yes, it is scary because it could be a new thing for you investing in yourself, but it's also a really, really exciting thing because investing in yourself is saying you trust yourself to make big moves. And I've heard this from a couple of people of I want more one-on-one time, which is one, so flattering. But if you really want personalized coaching and some extra support, there's a VIP upgrade. Message me more about that, or it's on the website. And also, there are one-on-one coaching packages as well that I do outside of the group coaching. And last thing is, I'm not sure it will work. Yes, this is a real thing, and you're taking a risk. And so for me, like I operate on transparency. I would much, and I operate from a place of I want people who want to work with me. And I trust that you're making that decision. So if you do the work, if you come to the calls and you show me the results of you doing that work and the exercises within 14 days and you're not happy and it's not working out, that's okay. I will give you a refund. That's way more important to me. Okay. And this last one is Courtney. Courtney is she works in operations at a startup. She's a generalist, meaning she does a bunch of different things and didn't know how to tell her story of what she did. She also loves CrossFit and she loves audiobooks while she cycles. And when she came to me, she said, I feel stuck in terms of my career growth and a bit lost in terms of how to decide what the right next move is and how to get there. And this just happened, so I'm so excited, is Courtney career pivoted. She landed in a role in product. She went from operations to product in just 4 weeks of working together. In this case, it was 4 sessions. She learned, we practiced so much on this, like hammered it home, and she's an exceptional communicator now of her background and her skill sets. And she is confidently set up for this career pivot of landing in this new company in this role of setting herself up for success and her boundaries and how to ask for what she wants. Okay, so I want to leave you with this. One, let me go to the chat. Okay, so you can book a 15-minute curiosity chat with me. I'd love to meet you. And I put the link in the chat. If you have any questions, this is a chance for you to ask them to me directly, or you can email me, LinkedIn, however you want to talk to me, voice note me. And I love the new Happy. If you haven't seen them before, they have so many very relatable images. So you don't have to achieve all goals by doing it perfectly. You achieve your goals by trying and learning. So I want to leave that with you. And I want to leave time for questions. I know we went a little bit over, so thank you for this. And I'll say if anyone has anything that they want to ask.
Something that I'd like to ask is like if there are for people who like know what their goals are there goals that you feel are better fit for the authentic program or like one-on-ones or even like goals that may be beyond the scope of like what coaching can do? I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah,
If
I would
everything's
say
safe for
I
you.
definitely would say to make the best use of the program, it would be specific things. I wonder for you, would you be comfortable sharing like what those goals are? And I can tell you what would be a good fit.
Yeah, I really want to get my consultancy business off the ground to the point that like I can afford to one freelance with like making at least $250,000. I want to be able to like have 1 million running through the at least 7 figures running through the company. And I
Oh
have a
yeah.
company now.
Yes.
Um, and like my longer term goal is to become a philanthropist. I don't know how to do that. Uh, and I don't know that that's something that can happen in like 12 weeks.
Hmm.
Um, but that's where I'd like to be.
Yeah. 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 I love these goals. You're also inspiring other people in the chat by sharing them. And thank you for being so honest and sharing them here, like with strangers. So, yes, I will say there's another person that I think would be such a good fit in this program that you should talk to is specifically like women who want to build their own businesses. Like I've worked with people before and helped them with clients and how to build it and scale. And the other person that is in the group is also runs her own business, is the head of growth at a startup, has a consultancy, and is an investor. And so that's the type of community that is going to be part of the group coaching program. And then if you want to do one-on-one, that's more personalized, like it's very tailored to you. It's more if you, it depends on you, like the type of support that you need and that you want, really. And so that's that's the timeline of it. They're both 12 weeks, and then sometimes people continue working together, like for your bigger goals of philanthropy and things like that. Yeah. Thank you for asking. And also doing it on video. I love finally getting to like interact, and it's not just my face. Any other things? Catherine, wow, and you're raising your hand. This is throwback to when I used to manage team. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess, well, maybe kind of in a similar vein, you mentioned like this is mostly for people in tech. Is there any particular reason why you're focusing on tech?
Hmm. Actually, I mean, someone that is considering joining the group has her master's in wine curation. And we had this exact same conversation. And I will say my expertise is in tech, but at the same point, I've also worked in a number of other industries, like I was a writer and insurance. So for that reason, it really depends on like what you want to work on. And we can talk about that maybe more. Actually, if you want to book like a curiosity call, that might be a good one to do and talk about your goals and whether it'd be a good fit. It depends on what you want to work on. But this framework isn't tech specific. It's more to have that connection with people who are also in like a similar industry. What is your current role out of curiosity?
Oh, I lost my job, but I was a researcher, UX researcher.
Oh, well, that's tech. Oh, maybe you're just asking out of curiosity too.
Oh, well, I'm contemplating moving out of tech.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 100% this is transitions in and out of tech.
Oh,
So thank
okay,
you for clarifying. Yes, that is also something that I feel passionate about is finding fits that aren't just necessarily like staying in tech.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, I love that people stayed. Hey, Kane, you're in London. We haven't met yet, but I know we've talked. So funny, you're not that far away from me. I'm in London, everyone. I think I mentioned that. Anyway, I'll be available. So let me put it in the chat again. If you want to book a chat with me and ask me questions, you can definitely do that or email me. I'm here for you. And thank you so much for coming. I was nervous about it all day, and then I'm so glad that I got to meet all of you. So thank you. And I'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye bye.